This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
Presenting the petitions, Présentation de pétition, the Honourable Member for Battleford's Lloydminster.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So I rise to table a few petitions today. The first one is in regards to the Liberal government's firearms buyback program. So the Liberal government's plan to confiscate legally acquired firearms from law-abiding firearm owners and retailers will do nothing to reduce the crime in Canada. And these petitioners are calling on this Liberal government to cancel its plan to enforce a costly and ineffective firearms buyback program and instead to set its sights on common sense policies that will keep guns out of the hands of dangerous criminals. The next petition that I am presenting today is a petition on public prayer in the Canadian Armed Forces. So the recent directive that was issued to military chaplains banning religious symbols and public prayer at ceremonies like that of Remembrance Day actually undermines our religious freedoms and one of the very values, ironically, that our men and women in uniform have fought to defend. So these petitioners are calling on the House of Commons to affirm the right of public prayer in our Canadian Armed Forces. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I rise to table my last petition here regarding Bill C-318. So we know that adoptive and intended parents in our country are at a disadvantage under the current EI system, and all parents are deserving of equal access to parental leave benefits. And so Bill C-318 delivers equitable access to parental leave for adoptive and intended parents, and the undersigned of this petition, residents of Canada, call upon the Government of Canada to support adoptive and intended parents by providing a royal recommendation for Bill C-318. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well done. Présentation de pétition, presenting of petitions, the Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour to rise and present petition from constituents in Saanich Gulf Islands who are concerned with the nexus between the climate crisis and health of humanity. The petitioners note that the World Health Organization has determined that, quote, climate change is the greatest threat to global health in the 21st century, close quote. That the health impacts from climate change include lung disease, heat-related illness and death, spread of infectious diseases, and we note, of course, in Canada, the spread of Lyme disease related to climate change, displacement, famine, drought, mental health impacts that are already being felt in Canada and abroad and are expected to accelerate. Petitioners are, and I want to underline this, Mr. Speaker, a particular class of knowledgeable individuals. The petitioners are described as physician mothers of Canada, people who are both mothers and speak as many of us do, with concern for our children, but with the added lens of the knowledge that they bring as physicians. So they call on the government and House of Commons to act on the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment call to action on climate change and health, prioritize the reduction of emissions as quickly as possible, implement a national carbon pricing strategy, and commit to the rapid elimination of fossil fuels from our economy. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Presenting petitions. The Honourable Member for Kitchener Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour to rise to present a petition that notes that, first of all, we are in the middle of both a climate and cost of living crisis. Petitioners note that folks across the country are struggling to afford housing and food, while also dealing with unprecedented climate disasters that will only continue to worsen if urgent action is not taken. They note that while this is happening, fossil fuel companies made record profits last year, with the 5 largest fossil fuel companies operating in Canada alone making annual profits of over $38 billion. They note that a significant portion of these profits were made as a result of price gouging at the pump in 2022, costing Canadians an additional 18 cents per litre more than their previous profit margins on fuel. Far more, they note, than the 2 cents per litre that carbon pricing went up in the same period last year. They also note that similar taxes on excess profiteering on these oil and gas companies has been instituted in Canada already in other sectors, as well as on oil and gas companies in the UK and Europe. They then call on the Government of Canada to, first of all, immediately apply a 15% windfall profit tax onto the excess profits of oil and gas companies operating over the past 3 years, and to reallocate the revenues that would be generated from this to proven climate solutions, as well as efforts to make life more affordable for Canadians, including investments in public transit, in retrofitting buildings, and in greening the grid. Thank you.